सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सर्ववेदान्त सिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Hari Om. In our effort to learn, discuss and contemplate upon these different shlokas of Vivekachoodamani, we have gone through up until the 9th shloka. Now today we will be continuing with the 10th onwards. Up until now, it was said the purpose for which this human birth is being given is to relate oneself to that core of one's own being, having reached which that which we have been seeking, though in different things outside, is found right within one's own heart. And for that, waiting on some special event, special occurrence to happen so that I can realize that it is not going to happen as an accident. Uddharet atmana atmanam magnam samsara varidhau. Those who realize that we have been caught up in that samsara, to walk away from it, the effort has to be put by that individual. It cannot be forced onto them. It cannot be brought onto them. The effort must be one's own. So now continuing in the 10th verse, it is said here, please try repeating along with me. Sanyasya sarvakarmani bhavabandha vimuktaye yatyatam panditair dhiraihi atmabhyasa upasthitaihi. Sanyasya, giving up, renouncing. Sarva karmani, all actions. Bhava bandha vimuktaye, to vimuktaye, to liberate. Liberate from what? Liberate from the bondage of karma vasana chakra. That is called bhava bandha. Yatyatam, may one put the effort. Panditaihi, here Adi Shankaracharya is extending himself in recognizing that when somebody takes this pursuit sincerely, such one can be considered as a pandita. By such learned one, who is dhira, dhiraihi, the one who has the mental stability, stamina and courage. Atma abhyase, in the Atma abhyasa, in the discovering, in recognizing one's own true nature. Upasthitaihi, in applying oneself completely for that cause. So the meaning is, may the intelligent one who has pursued various aspects of life, may that person give up all wrong actions motivated and prompted by desires, start the practice of cognizing one's own true nature, and thereby attain the liberation from bondages of the karma vasana or the cycle of birth and death. In the Shruti, it is said, Pariksha lokan karmachitan nirveda brahmanaha nasti akritaha kritena. So in this particular mantra, it is said that just because the scriptures are saying, it does not inspire one to focus on this particular aspect of life. Instead, we, the so-called scientific age, if the scripture, if the religion has said something, we abhor, we run away from it. But what does the scripture say? The scripture says that one cannot pursue into the field of spirituality just as a superficial reader, just as once in a while try to look into it as well. Once a month spirituality, or once in a year spirituality, or even a weekend spirituality. It has to be much more sincere than that. And that sincerity would come when we have seen, when we have pursued all possible avenues out in the world that seem to be inviting, that seem to be calling, that maybe in this part, maybe in this walk of life, maybe in this particular action, I have a scope, I have a chance to find that which I am searching, which I am seeking. All those avenues should be pursued, understood, and the essence of it is grasped. Meaning what? There should not be even a slightest doubt that maybe I'm missing out on all those things in trying to pursue this. And to have that basic conviction in the spiritual unfoldment is not that easy either. Because what the scriptures are trying to say is, don't believe, don't get lost in that which you see, that which you can perceive, that which you can feel, touch. And that is the reality for us. And the scriptures say, don't pursue that. That which is not an experience, that which I don't know what it is, the God principle, the Paramatma, or that Supreme, whoever it is, wherever it is, pursue that. That which is not an experience, that is real, that you pursue. That which you can experience, feel, touch, taste, that is not real, don't pursue that. Now, in this particular statement, if it is enforced from an outside, or even if it is something that is not born out of conviction that that which I am seeking is not in the world of things, is not in the world of beings, it is not in the world of experiences, time or space. In these parameters, I cannot find it. That conviction should be born in that individual. If that basic conviction is not born, it becomes almost impossible for the individual to focus on the spiritual pursuit. Why? Because there is still that lingering hopelessness that maybe I have not tried enough. Maybe I have not pursued enough. Maybe I have not put my effort enough. Maybe my stars were not aligned. Maybe my luck was not there. That is why I have been failing to find it out there. If that concept, if that idea, if that still is lurking in, to pursue in here becomes difficult. Instead, I have seen it all. Pariksha lokan karmachitan. All the field of action I have already perceived, I have already seen, I have gone through, been there, done that. That which I am seeking is not there. Yes, that field of obligations, the field of duties that I am engaged in right now has its relevance, has its importance, but that which I am seeking is not a part of that deal. That conviction has to be born within. In nutshell, what does that statement of the Shruti mean, the scripture mean? It says that nasti akritaha kritena, that there is not something that I have not turned around to see, to visualize, to gain, that maybe in that, if I had tried, I would find. Tried it all, been there, done that. So, in layman's terms, what is that scripture trying to say? It is trying to say that the basic conviction of the individual that my sukha, my happiness, my sense of joy, my sense of enjoyment is out there in the world. I will be happy, I'll be content, I'll be satisfied if I find the person, the place, the thing, the time, the space, all of this culminating in such a way that the joy can be found. That conviction has to change. That I have tried it all. It has a certain sense of utility, but beyond that, there is nothing more that it can offer me as an individual. That conviction at that layer has to change. Once that conviction has changed, then to pursue with complete zeal, complete interest, with complete focus becomes easier. It is not ऐसे ही चलते चलते ये मिल गया तो ये भी try कर लेते हैं. To those triers, it is not a possibility. Therefore, here Adi Shankaracharya says, Sanyasya sarva karmani. He is not telling that the actions have to be abandoned. No, being a part of this world, we cannot abandon actions. We will be performing those actions. We will be responsible for various of these commitments that we have. But that which I am searching is not a result of that. To separate it out, to weed it out, that the outside field of actions have their purpose, their limitation. That which I am seeking, that which I am craving, that which I want, that happiness, that sukha, is not out there. It is somewhere deep within. That I have to pursue, that I have to find. That conviction is called sanyasya, renouncing the idea that my happiness is out there in the world. That idea has to be relinquished, renounced. So I cannot blame, once that conviction comes, I cannot blame the outside world for my lack of happiness or the cause of dukkha. I cannot say that I am not happy because of my spouse. I am not happy because of presence of children or absence of children. I am not happy because of this job. I am not happy because of this place that I live in. None of that actually matters. But yet I have to involve in those. I have to perform those. I cannot run away from those. Just that conviction that my happiness is lying out there has to change. When that change happens, when that mindset is created, when that conviction is changed, the satyatva buddhi that my happiness is out there is changed. My conviction is changed. That change of conviction is called sanyasya, renouncing. Sarva karmani, through all interactions with the outside world. That conviction, the change in that conviction is the key. Bhava bandha vimuktaye, to release oneself from the field of any kinds of bondage. As much as liking can become a vulnerability, disliking also can become a vulnerability. As long as I keep running for that which I like, therefore I call it good, becomes a vulnerability. That which I don't like, running away from it, is also a vulnerability that keeps constantly creating restlessness. I have to involve, I have to engage in the outside world. The purpose is different. We'll come in a couple of shlokas as to why we have to pursue that. But that which I'm seeking is not there. That firm conviction has to be created. Bhavabandha vimuktaye yatyatam panditaihi dhiraihi. Yatyatam, yatna, to put forth effort. Therefore, the rishis were called yati, the one who was putting the right effort in the right direction, meaning the right intensity, the right direction. Yatyatam. Who is this yati? Pandita and dhira. Pandita, the one who has the intellectual stability. Dhira, the one who has the emotional stability, wherein he has the patience to endure whatever life throws at you, however overwhelming it is, to go through it without shying or running away from it. That firm courage to face that life, the courage born out of that patience to face life. Such one, when puts the effort, where Atma Abhyase, to find that core of one's own being, and putting all the efforts in reaching to that core, and to understand what is the Panditya, to understand all that which takes me away from the core, to slowly but efficiently cut them out. And that which strengthens my move towards reaching to that core, I encourage, I nourish that path. Upasthitaihi. So that conviction has to change. How will that conviction change? So here in the next shloka, Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya ji says, please try to chant along with me. Chittasya shuddhaye karma natu vastupalabdhaye vastu siddhir vicharena na kinchit karma kotibhihi. Chittasya shuddhaye karma natu vastupalabdhaye. The external engagement that I am involved in, the field of responsibilities, the field of duties, the field of obligations, why should I be involved in it if my sukha is not in that? See, if we go back to the seed of Karma Yoga Siddhanta, the principle of Karma Yoga. It is not a thought, it is not a vichara, but it is a Siddhanta, it is a principle. When I say it is Siddhanta, it is as clear as any field of science. The Siddhanta of electricity, it functions whether I believe in it or not. It functions whether I understand it or not. It functions whether I am conscious about it or unconscious about it. Similarly, the Karma Siddhanta, whether I believe it in or not, it applies to both equally, the believer and the non-believer. If I know about it or not, it doesn't matter, it still is applicable. That is how Siddhanta works. It is not based on belief, it is based on the facts. And that impacts. So, here in that Karma Yoga Siddhanta, the seed form, it is in that second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, wherein it is said, we all know that shloka, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana Ma karma phala heturbhuhu ma te sangostva karmani. Karmani eva adhikaraha te. There is not a single moment where I exist without performing action. Consciously or unconsciously, inadvertently or advertently, or with focus or without focus, constantly there is karma being done. As much as holding this vastu in my hand is karma, dropping it is also karma. When I do something, we have come to a conclusion that that alone is karma. When I get disgusted, disenchanted, or even at an energy level, I am not feeling that well, and I don't do something, not doing is also karma. Now let us take from the basic standpoint. English grammar. There is subject, object, participles, and there is a verb. I am not doing anything. What is the verb here? Not doing is the verb. What does verb indicate? Action. So not doing is also an action. Simple understanding of English grammar will tell us that. Oh, I'm not doing anything, I'm just sitting. Sitting is an action. Oh, I'm not doing anything, I'm just chilling, relaxing. Even these are called action. Even when I am not physically engaged in anything, mentally I am thinking, I am breathing, I am seeing, I am listening. These are all actions. There is not a moment. The only person that can claim that I have nothing else to do, all my actions are now cease to exist. 4 people have to carry them on their shoulder. Until then, we keep performing actions. Karmanyev adhikaraste. Ma phaleshu kadachana. We don't have that kind of a right on the results of action. Now here, peripherally it is translated often as that which you are planning, scheming, aiming for, those goals, those visions that have to be fulfilled, those results are not in your hand. Yes, definitely they are not in your hand, because there are so many things in the matrix of action that I perform, and that which is worth that action, the result of it comes through various channels, and those channels have to be aligned for me to get that result. That may happen immediately, that may happen instantly, that may happen remotely, later part. But it does come back. But we don't have the control over the timing of it, timing of the result. That's one set of meaning. If we go deeper in it, phala, whatever be the phala, whether it is money, whether it is security, whether it is name, fame, whether it is comforts, whether it is luxury, whatever it is, the result of an action that I am expecting, anticipating. Why is it that I want money? Why is it that I want name? Why is it that I want fame? Why is it that I want comfort and luxury? Why is it that I want those basic needs met? I need those basic things. I want those different things that I am aiming for so that I can be happy. Isn't happiness universal, that keeps driving us from one work to the other in anticipation of that happiness? Think. That happiness, karma cannot give, will not give, shall not give. Performing karma is my responsibility. The anticipated sukha is not through that karma. So to separate these two channels out, that karma has to be performed for a different reason. The effort for ananda, or to find that ananda, is completely different, completely isolated from that karma. Meaning, no amount of karma can bring that joy or happiness within. The joys which we tend to enjoy seem to be something that is born out of karma, but we all know it is temporary. Even before enjoying something, I'm already feeling the insecurity of losing that moment of joy. It happens many times. Oh my gosh, this will pass away. My little bit of joy will pass away. And probably the doctors, the dentists probably know this. That is why for those little kids that come to their offices, more than candy, the children love to hold on to a lollipop, a sucker. Why? For the longest period, they keep holding on to it, looking at it. This is good. I'm going to enjoy it. Slowly, over a period of time, remove that wrapper and then first lick on it. Cherish, enjoy, smell it. The other candies, you pop it in your mouth, chew them up, done. But this, you can keep continuing, extending the possibility of joy born for the longest period of time. Even the child's brain acts according to the prolonged joy that can be entertained. However long we try to prolong it, it is still limited. It is still temporary. It is still transient. It is a feel-good factor and not the true joy that we can enjoy. Gurudev says, who says that this world cannot give us joy? It does. But damn, it is just temporary. It is temporary. In that temporariness, what do we become? Slaves to it so much that we tend to repeat that again and again. In that repetitive process, it becomes a habit. The habit becomes an addiction. That addiction keeps revolving us, pushing us. The more I keep pushing myself in for that same kind of result, what do I find? I find that the joy that I find through that vastu is no more the same amount of joy that I found in the first place. And if I continuously engage in it, my returns of joy are diminishing. Think. Isn't it true? If a vastu had sukha in it, should that sukha not be universal to everyone who is engaged in it? If that vyakti had sukha, shouldn't that vyakti be the source of joy for everyone that interacts with him or her? If that place has sukha in it, shouldn't that yield the same amount of sukha to everyone that is participating in it? If that time had sukha in it, shouldn't it be giving the same amount of joy to everyone that is participating in it? It is not so. The first part, that it is transient. Second part, it is not prolonged. Third, that sukha which I am trying to indulge has inverse proportion. The proportionality is inversed the more I indulge. Fourth, that if it had sukha in it, it is not universal. Now let's take an example. That if there is a live socket, electric socket, if somebody touches it, doesn't it give shock to anyone who touches it? Of course, if you are wearing the proper amount of gear, you are protected. But inadvertently, when you touch it, doesn't everybody get a shock? Why does everybody get a shock? Because it is Vastu Swarupa, that live socket. Its Swarupa is to pass that electricity wherever there is least resistance. That is its nature. If the object had sukha in it, shouldn't it yield the same amount of sukha every time that I indulge in it? Unfortunately, it is not so. Though I am searching for it, I am searching it in a wrong place. And I get disappointed every time that I put forth action in anticipation of this abundance of joy, and I don't seem to find that abundance of joy. Disappointments, disenchantment becomes a natural course of action, natural course of experience. Disgusted with this, then I want to change the environment, change the people, change the things. Again, after a few years, we have those 7-year itch, 14-year itch, the mid-40, midlife crisis. Because there is that disenchantment that just envelops one from all directions. So what is the understanding that Adi Shankaracharya is trying to build? So let me complete that reference of Bhagavad Gita shloka. There it is said, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Because I don't find joy through karma, if suppose I understand that statement, then why at all should I perform the action? Should I not just abandon it? There Adi Shankaracharya ji comes to help. There he says, what is the plugin that is required in that particular shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Karmanyeva adhikaraste? Please don't translate it as do your best, leave the rest. That is not all to it. There's much more depth to it that it can offer. What is the plugin that has to be to make it a complete, meaningful shloka? Here Adi Shankaracharya ji adds clarity. Chittasya shuddhaye karma natu vastu upalabdhaye. That karma is performed to gain purity of antakarana. What is purity of antakarana? Antakarana, by its natural course of creation, was made, the mana, buddhi, chitta, they were made out of the most sattvic, the most pure elements. But in that pure elements, if it is a container, the content that we are carrying in our mind, in our heart, in our ideas, those contents are that which is creating agitation. And on the top of it, the ahankara of the antakarana, which gets identified with all these layers, all these different minute manipulations that is happening, modifications that is happening, the identification that I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am the memory, I am the body, I am this entire world that I have amassed to myself. That ahankara is the ashuddhi, the impurity. If we perform karma as karma yoga, then that ahankara loses its grip and the identification, the ashuddhi, is washed away. There are many who say that, I go morning 6, come back evening at 8 and I am dedicated to my work, I am a karma yogi. No, you are addicted to karma. You are called workaholic. That doesn't make that person a karma yogi. There are many people who say, oh, my Swamiji, my husband doesn't come to satsang. He is but a karma yogi. He believes his work and he dedicates himself to that work. Dedicating to work is not important. Dedicating that work to something higher, something sublime, something supreme, that is important. Having dedicated it, doing it selflessly, without any egoistic returns indulged in it. That thought, that conviction and its application is called karma yoga and not karma. That mindset, what does it do? Cleans us from within. That restlessness is removed. Chittasya shuddhaye karma. Natu vastu palabdhaye. That vastu, that phala that we are anticipating is not through karma. So to understand clearly that the field of karma is meant only for a cleansing purpose and it cannot yield happiness. There are two different distinct tracks. One is meant for cleaning, the other is meant for pursuing. Then how do we find that happiness? What exactly is this happiness? A later part of discussion. But just get this understanding clear. That through karma, I cannot will not, shall not find happiness. Write it down in your wherever to remind oneself again and again and again that karma cannot yield happiness. And I've given you 4 different steps of logic to understand why karma cannot yield happiness. Chittasya shuddhaye karma natu vastu upalabdhaye. Vastu siddhir vicharena na kinchit karma kodibhi. That vastu siddhi, that happiness that which I am seeking, that core which I am trying to identify, find, recognize, that happens vicharena, only through vichara. Vichara, contemplation, not vikara. Vikara is brooding. Vichara, contemplation. Contemplative mindset yields forth. Whether you put in self-evaluation, going to satsang, acquiring the knowledge, translating, churning it into wisdom, that which can be applied in day-to-day life. With that vichara alone, this wrong identification can be removed. Removal of this wrong identification reveals that which is the core of my existence. Vastu siddhir vicharena. Vichara kartavya. Therefore, one has to do vichara. Vichara is that critical part of our growth in spiritual evolution. Don't restrict the spirituality to going to a temple, lighting a candle or a incense stick and doing pradakshina around. They all have a certain value to it. It gives you the focus. It gives you the mental tenacity beyond which one has to start doing the contemplative processes. Vastu siddhir vicharena. Na kinchit karma kotibihi. However long we keep indulging in this world of actions, however sacred, noble that they may be, cannot yield happiness. This has to be ingrained, that even if somebody were to wake us up in deep sleep and say, is your happiness out in the field of karma? One should be able to see, no. Think about it. A very powerful thought given here. Vastu siddhir vicharena na kinchit karma kotibihi. Therefore, continuing, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya ji says in the 12th shloka, please repeat. Samyak vicharata siddhaha rajju tattvavadharana भ्रांतो दितमहा सर्प भय दुःख विनाशिनी. सम्यक विचारत सिद्धा रज्जु तत्वावधारणा. No Vedantic thought can be complete without this example of Rajju Sarpa Bhranti. One day you were trying to water your plants in the evening that you came back, and as you were watering, there was this little movement that you found under a bush, and you saw a tubular thing, slimy thing that seemed like crawling. You freaked out, saying that, oh my God, snake! You ran in. Now you brought in a flashlight, a stick, and started throwing light. Still there. You're scared. Scarily you moved it and you tried picking up, and it got picked, and you saw that it was nothing but a rope. Now in this whole understanding of analysis of this example, a rope is dissimilar to a snake, isn't it? If you have touched a snake, it is slimy, it is cold, it is wriggly, and it has that scaly touch to it. Rope is harsh, rough. It doesn't have that wriggly movement. But yet, in that little hazy outlook, I saw a snake and I got scared. Now, pay attention. Knowing that even one part of that which I claimed as a snake, right, as rope, doesn't my Bhranti get vanished? All of that Bhranti is gone, isn't it? Or do I say, this side of the rope may be not a snake. Maybe that side is still a snake. Is it a possibility? Once even a tiny bit of clarity comes in, the rest of it becomes clear. That is the power of understanding. That understanding which is born out of contemplation. So here he says, Samyak vicharata siddhaha rachutattvavadharana. The Rajju and its tattva and understanding of it, avadharana. How does it go away? Samyak vicharataha, by steady, balanced contemplation. Bhrantodita mahasarpa, the illusory snake that I imagined, the fear that that imagination created, all of that gets wiped out because of thorough contemplation and analysis. Wherever there is that contemplation and a clarity born, there cannot be fear. How do we get out of fear? By attacking head on and finding its root cause, getting clarity. That where there is clarity, there cannot be ignorance. That where there is no ignorance, there cannot be fear. Fear is a result of ignorance. So the dukkha, bhaya is all vanished. In fact, at that foolishness we only laugh. It is just nothing but a rope. I thought that it was a snake. Well, alas, it is not a snake, it is just a rope. How did I imagine that this rope to be a snake? Think. It was momentary illusion, but the impact of it was so deep. Just because the impact is deep, the validity of it being a snake may not be there. Therefore, when I pursue it, put the flashlight on, check it thoroughly, even the slightest bit of recognition that it is rope, there is a sense of relief that yes, this is not a snake. That is the power of clarity. Therefore, samyak vicharata siddhaha. One has to apply the contemplative processes to gather, to gain, to nourish oneself in clarity. Clarity is the key, Baba. Wherever there is clarity, there cannot be confusion, there cannot be bhaya, fear, there cannot be dukkha, misery. Miserable moments can happen, but I can become the wise chooser to become dukhi or not dukhi. That choice I can hold. That much intrinsically I can gain. Think. So today, I think I'll conclude it here. We'll continue from the 13th shloka next time. Until then, Hari Om. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.